If you're going to do it. Say what you can do what you say. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't over-leverage the decision, and then jump in and kind of dip a toe thinking, I think I'll try it out. No. Think. If you're going to try it out, think it through beforehand. But when it's time to go, dive. Finish it. Find out. Come out the other side. Don't leave it halfway and walk away saying, if I just would. That keeps me up at night. I think it keeps a lot of us up at night. When you half-ass something, you just don't know whether you failed or succeeded, got what you want or didn't get what you want. Finding out, looking in the mirror and going, I went all the way, I found out, even if that means discovering it isn't for you, there's clarity in that. And when you discover it is for you, that's a feeling that energizes every decision you make afterward. That's a great place to get to. I think part of the challenge in life is that a lot of us are running around half-assing ourselves, half-living our potential, not full of ourselves, not studying ourselves enough, not holding ourselves to task enough, not patting our own self on the back when we do get what we want, and not cracking our own whip when we slip up, even though we knew better. I wish we were more full of ourselves that way. Someone said this to me once, Matthew, you're so full of yourself. And I thought, well, who else am I supposed to be full of? That's a good line. I stopped, wrote that down, and thought, yes, more people should be more full of themselves. We should take the time to look in the mirror and own the things we've pulled off. Say, good job. That's what you wanted. That's what you got. At the same time, as we do more often, we should look in the mirror when we fail and say, bogey, you didn't pull that off. Give yourself credit. Give others credit. Happiness can't be guaranteed, but there is a science to satisfaction. You can study habits that reduce pain, increase pleasure, or at least minimize suffering. And that, my friends, is a win. It's so much easier to be supportive and gentle with other people than with ourselves. You will happily bestow a reassuring pat on the shoulder when someone succeeds, or even if they fall short, knowing they tried their best. Yet, given the fact that you tried your best, you often give yourself a kick out the door, followed by a harsh word. Why? Because you got yourself into a pickle. Things didn't go the way you wanted them to go, or how you believed they could. Life's the ironic tragedy. Life is pain. And I'm the reason I stepped in, which is also an asset. Even if someone says, why are you giving yourself so much credit for screwing that up? We're going to make mistakes. You have to own them, make amends, and move on. Guilt and regret kill many a man before their time. So turn the page. Get off the ride. You are the author of the book of your life. There are habits I notice, the things I take care of in my life. Health-wise, faith-wise, father-wise, husband-wise. If I do these consistently, there's less chaos, less regret, less wasted energy. The ironic tragedy is that life has to be lived forward but only makes sense in reverse. When we look back, we can connect every single dot. It's mathematical, scientific. Every decision, every conversation, every sleepless night led to this table, to this moment. It's all connected. When you look back, you realize the end of one chapter was the beginning of another. What you're leaning into now is a mystery moving forward. That mysterious push is your leverage. You may not know exactly what you want, but you know what you don't want, and that gives you more clarity than you think. We always ask, who are you? And I try not to ask my kids that too directly now. I want them to figure out who they are. Part of the help I've had in understanding this is from people like Bob Dylan, talking about identity, about creation. We are what we create ourselves to be. That realization is relaxing. It's easier to figure out who you're not than to immediately define who you are. Eliminate the who I'm not by sheer mathematics, by observation, by reflection, and you end up moving toward more of what feeds you, toward who you really are. It's far easier to remove negative forces in life than it is to chase the ideal version of yourself immediately. Do I want to press the accelerator, or do I want to take my foot off the brake? Sometimes, the hard work, the endurance, the elbow grease, and even the hustle is not the way out. Sometimes, the solution is to step back, laugh, sip your favorite drink, and dance your way through the raindrops of life. Even the things that appear bad, when looked at carefully, are gifts. They're opportunities to grow, to learn, to adapt. One of the themes I've learned is alchemizing bad times into good ones. Remind yourself, what seems bad now may teach you resilience, patience, and perspective. When life hits hard, I often start intellectualizing it. I convince myself, even if I don't fully believe yet, that this too shall pass. You've probably said it yourself, and even in the moment, it can feel hollow. But slowly, the wisdom of these words sinks in. I remain conscious of my optimism, even in hardship, because faith is the recognition that the present difficulty is temporary. I have a tendency not to dramatize life unnecessarily. Dramas don't serve me, and I don't like to create them. Yet I still feel pain, sadness, anger. I wrestle with my thoughts, my demons. I question, why did this happen? What did I do wrong? That's normal, but there's a lesson in reflection, in introspection. Every man knows reflection at his lowest. You can't do much other than assess, learn, and grow. And when things go right, it's equally important to deconstruct those moments. Appreciate the consistency, the small actions, the gratitude. I make lists. I remind myself when I drift off track. Recognize what's working. Acknowledge it. Celebrate it. Knowing success is not permanent keeps you humble and ready for the next mountain. My best advice to myself is simple. Listen to your own damn advice. Forget the flattery, the applause. Forget impressing others. The sooner you become less impressed with your accomplishments and more involved in the process, the better you become at it. We are explorers, not caretakers. We pursue the hard, the scary, the challenging because it costs us. And cost brings reward. Life is not easy, it is not fair, and falling into the trap of entitlement or victimhood is a waste. Most things are more rewarding when you sweat for them, when you work intentionally, when you earn them. The act of working toward your goals, the discipline, the intention, that is what gives life significance, confidence, and joy. Be brave. Have courage. Commit. Dive in. Work for what you want. Make friends with yourself along the way. Understand that the journey matters more than the finish line. Experience is a teacher. The sweat, the struggle, the small victories, they stick. They build resilience. They build optimism. Delayed gratification teaches wisdom. Choices made today, with intention, pay dividends in the years ahead. Sometimes, the perfect choice is less important than the decision itself. Commit, and the universe will reward the effort. Remember, the people you face in life may seem bigger, stronger, more experienced. But they do not know your heart. They do not feel your purpose the way you do. Step into your challenges. Chase your goals with everything you have. Play like an underdog. Remove the man-made ceilings above yourself. Create your own immortal finish lines. Write your own book. When you lay every ounce of your energy on the line, when you are fully in the process, you cannot lose. Life is hard. Knowing who you are is hard. Give yourself permission to grow. Eliminate who you are not first, and then you will find yourself. Your hero, the person you look up to, may always be 10 years ahead of you. That's okay. Chase that. Be inspired by the version of yourself that is yet to come. Live in the process. Do not fear moments of brilliance or moments of fear. They are the same. Never put limits on yourself. We often create ceilings that do not exist. The joy of action, the work in progress, the deliberate pursuit of mastery, these are the true rewards. We are explorers. We are pioneers. We are alive when we chase, when we sweat, when we persist. And in the end, the journey itself, with all its mistakes, lessons, triumphs and failures, is the life worth living. We used to look up in the sky and wonder about our place in the stars. That sense of awe, that curiosity, is something innate to all of us. But somewhere along the way, we became too impressed with ourselves, our accomplishments, our careers, and the prospects in front of us. And when we focus too much on how impressive life looks from the outside, we lose sight of the work, the struggle, and the growth that comes from being deeply involved. The sooner we become less impressed with what life hands us and more committed to what we do with it, the sooner we become better at actually doing it. That's the difference between living and existing. It's as if we forgot who we are, home explorers, pioneers, adventurers, not caretakers, not observers of our own lives. Why do we pursue things that scare us? Why do we seek out roles, challenges, and experiences that feel hard, risky, or beyond our capacity? It's because the things that cost us something are the things that give us life. Risk is only meaningful if there's a chance to fail. And when we dive into those moments, the ones that make our hearts race, that make us nervous every single day, we come alive. Every time I step into a challenge, I feel it. The nervous energy, the excitement, the fear. That energy is the signal that what we are doing matters, that it's real, and that the results are not guaranteed. Life is not easy. It never has been. It never will be. And no amount of wishing, pretending, or complaining changes that. Life is not fair. It is not supposed to be. Do not fall into the trap of entitlement, the belief that you are owed something. Victimhood is a choice, and it is a trap. You are not a victim. Get over it and get on with it. Most of the things in life that are most rewarding come with effort, struggle, and sweat. Nothing truly worthwhile is given freely. I feel this every day. When I finish a task I prepared for, when I know I've done the work I set out to do, when I set intention and execute, there is a sense of fulfillment, a sense of gratification, a tangible significance that comes with it. That is what builds confidence. That is what creates resilience. Be brave. Have courage. Face your fears head on. Every time you do, you grow. You become more aware of yourself, more respectful of your own capacity, and more attuned to the reality of the challenges you face. You see, our opponents, our challenges, the people who seem bigger, faster, stronger, or more experienced on paper, they can look intimidating. But they do not know your heart. They do not know the fire, the passion, or the commitment that drives you. You are armed with your own courage, your own preparation, your own relentless determination. Heading into challenges is not about matching them stroke for stroke. It's about showing up fully, owning the moment, and trusting in your ability to rise. Just because you can do something does not mean you should. Discerning your path is key. Choose to act because you want it, not because the opportunity looks shiny or easy. True satisfaction comes from effort, from the experiences you earn, from the sweat you shed, mentally, physically, and emotionally. We remember the things we build, the skills we acquire, the obstacles we overcome. They are etched into us, carried forward in our lineage, in our character, and in the resilience we develop. Those lessons are written into our very being and become a foundation for a healthy, true optimism. Delayed gratification is powerful. The choices we make today can pay off years down the line, even decades. I have friends who lost jobs and hesitated to take another because it offered less salary, only to find themselves stuck years later. They didn't take the leap. They didn't invest in the process of building something meaningful. And so, life passed them by. Don't make that mistake. Commit to the work you love, even if the immediate rewards are smaller. Invest in your growth, and the returns, both tangible and intangible, will far exceed anything handed to you. Sometimes, it's not about choosing the perfect option. Sometimes, it's about making a choice and committing to it fully. Dive in. Take the risks. Break a sweat. Celebrate the process of succeeding in the areas where you are naturally inclined to excel. Don't worry about what others are doing. Don't look over your shoulder. Focus on your craft, your growth, your own journey. Travel toward your own immortal finish lines. Write your own book. Overcome your fears. Make friends with yourself, with your strengths, and even with your weaknesses. Lay it all on the line, from the soles of your feet to every ounce of energy, every drop of effort you can give, until the final whistle blows. And if you do that, if you commit fully, you cannot lose. Knowing who we are is one of life's hardest challenges. It requires reflection, patience, and the courage to eliminate who we are not. Start there, and the rest will follow. It is a journey that requires honesty, self-compassion, and relentless pursuit. And sometimes, the clarity comes from asking tough questions. Who do I admire? Who do I aspire to be? A very important person once asked me, "Who's your hero?" I had to think about it. After reflection, I realized the answer was me. But not now, not yet. My hero is the version of myself 10 years into the future, striving, improving, and achieving. That perspective keeps me chasing, keeps me striving, keeps me living intentionally. Every day, week, month, and year, the version of yourself that you aspire to be is always just ahead. You may never fully attain it, and that's fine. The pursuit itself, the daily effort, the incremental growth, the learning from mistakes, is what shapes you, strengthens you, and propels you forward. Life is less about reaching a final destination and more about fully engaging in the journey, embracing challenges, and committing to growth with every step. To anyone listening, whatever your goals, whatever you aspire to, whatever you chase, keep moving, keep striving. Embrace the discomfort. Pursue what scares you. Push through resistance. Celebrate your wins, learn from your losses, and never stop asking the hard questions about yourself. Life is lived forward, but it only makes sense in retrospect. Connect the dots, learn the lessons, and trust the process. And remember, the hero you're chasing, the life you're building, and the dreams you hold, they're always worth the effort, worth the risk, worth the sweat. Break a sweat. Earn your victories. Appreciate your journey. Respect your process. Write your own story. Live fully. Be relentless in your pursuit of growth, and know that every challenge, every triumph, and every failure is a stepping stone toward the person you're becoming. You are the author of your life. The choices you make, the effort you give, and the resilience you cultivate will define the legacy you leave. So turn the page. Get off the ride of hesitation. Commit. Dive in. Strive. Fail. Learn. Rise. And keep moving forward, knowing that your hero is always just 10 years ahead, waiting for you to meet them. Nobody has ever truly choked in life, right? Well, I have. And I know exactly what I'm talking about. You know those moments, fumbling at the goal line, tripping over your own feet, sticking your foot in your mouth, and realizing the entire world just noticed. Maybe it happened when you stepped up to the microphone, ready to deliver a speech you'd rehearsed 1,000 times, only to have your mind go blank. Or perhaps it was on an exam you were fully prepared for, and yet, in the moment, the answers just evaporated from your mind like mist. Or maybe, just maybe, you stood before thousands of people, ready to tell a joke, and the punchline completely slipped away. I've been there too, and I know that feeling. And then there are those other moments, the exact opposite, when life feels so incredibly perfect that it almost seems too good to be true. You're standing in the sunlight of a moment, a euphoric high, thinking, "Oh my God, life just cannot get any better than this." And immediately, a question creeps in. Do I deserve this? Suddenly, that joy, that victory, that perfect moment becomes heavy. You tense up. You almost pull back from it. And in that instant, you feel yourself stepping outside your own body, seeing yourself as if from above, a spectator to your own life. The moment grows bigger than you. It feels like the universe itself is staring back, weighing you, testing you. Have you ever felt that way? I certainly have. Why does this happen? Because somewhere along the way, we've built a ceiling, a fictitious roof above our own potential. We impose limits on ourselves. We tell ourselves, this is too good, this is too much, I don't deserve it. But here's the truth. Life is not about what we deserve. Life is about showing up, staying in process, doing the work, and trusting the journey. Whether it's a blue ribbon, a statue, a perfect score, an innovative idea, the love of our life, or a euphoric experience, we shouldn't restrict ourselves with self-imposed ceilings. The gifts life offers us aren't measured by our sense of entitlement. They are earned in the doing, in the sweat, in the commitment, in the process. And here's the secret. If we stay in process, if we immerse ourselves in the joy of the doing rather than obsessing over the end result, we will never choke at the finish line. Why? Because we aren't focused on the finish line. We aren't watching the clock tick down or checking the scoreboard. We aren't performing for some imaginary audience on a giant jumbotron. We are present. The journey, the practice, the approach, they are the destination. The moment is alive, and we are alive within it. Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes of all time, had a perspective that embodies this. He would run over the goal line, through the end zone, and up the tunnel, utterly immersed in the act itself. It wasn't about recognition or applause. It was about living fully in the process of what he loved. And think about the greatest marksmen, snipers, and athletes. They don't aim at the target. They aim beyond it. They extend their reach beyond measurement, beyond the limits of expectation. That's where excellence lives. That's where growth lives. That's where we thrive. We do our best when our destinations are beyond the measurable, when our reach continually exceeds our grasp, and when we have immortal finish lines that keep us striving. When you do this, the race never truly ends. The journey has no final port. The adventure never stops. Every day becomes an opportunity to learn, to grow, to push a little harder, to reach a little further. And when someone comes along to pat you on the shoulder, to tell you you've done well, or to say, okay, you can go home now, it doesn't define you. You've already defined yourself by how far you pushed, by the process, by the effort, by the courage it took to keep moving forward. This is where responsibility meets freedom. True freedom isn't the absence of rules or challenges. It isn't just spending your Saturdays eating as much cake as you want. That's temporary, hollow. True freedom comes from responsibility. Responsibility is appreciation of the past, understanding your lineage, investing in yourself, and building on what you started yesterday to take it into tomorrow. Responsibility is a ladder to freedom. The more you take responsibility for your actions, your growth, your relationships, and your work, the more freedom you earn to live intentionally, to pursue your purpose, to explore your potential. And here's the critical part. This is not a one-time achievement. We never land. There is no single moment of arrival. There is no ultimate tada moment. Life is not a result-oriented checklist where you tick a box and say, I've made it. Life is a continuous journey of growth, learning, and striving. We must embrace the fact that we are always chasing, always achieving, always working towards something just beyond our grasp. That is the essence of life. And it's beautiful. It's challenging. It's humbling. And it's exhilarating. We have to be comfortable with the uncomfortably eternal pursuit. To understand that every moment, every task, every challenge is a building block, a chance to refine ourselves, to sharpen our resilience, to deepen our understanding. Every time we push through a hard day, every time we overcome a fear, every time we persevere despite doubt, we are writing the story of our lives. We are creating a lineage of effort and courage, a testament to the power of consistent dedication. Consider the idea of choking. We fear it. We dread it. But here's the truth. We only choke when we detach from the process. When we focus solely on the outcome, when we watch ourselves perform, when we elevate the moment to a spectacle in our mind, we are more likely to falter. But if we stay in the process, immersed in the joy of the doing, fully present, fully engaged, we cannot fail. Success becomes inevitable because the act of engaging, of striving, of committing fully is itself success. And what about life's unexpected moments? The moments that scare us, challenge us, or even terrify us. Those are precisely the moments we need to pursue. Why chase what scares you? Why take on the roles that seem difficult, impossible, or risky? Because growth lives on the edge of fear. Because these challenges shape us, teach us, and refine us. The experience of navigating difficulty, of confronting discomfort, of sweating through the process, creates strength, awareness, and respect, both for ourselves and for the things we fear. We remember the struggles we earn. We remember the victories we sweat for. The lessons, the resilience, the delayed gratification, they stay with us, embedded in our character. They are never lost, even if we forget them intellectually. They become part of our lineage, part of our foundation, part of the structure of our lives. And this is why process matters more than outcome, why the approach is the destination, and why we should never fear the challenge. Look at choices in life. Sometimes it's not about making the perfect choice, but making a choice and committing to it. We get trapped in overthinking, in calculating the optimal path, in weighing risk versus reward endlessly. Meanwhile, life passes us by. Those who act, those who commit, those who dive in, often find opportunities, growth, and fulfillment that the overcautious miss. It's not always about immediate reward. It's about building, learning, and preparing for what comes next. And so, I want you to remember, the journey is ongoing. You are never finished. There is no ultimate finish line because the finish line itself is in motion, evolving, and immortal. We are always moving toward greater understanding, greater achievement, greater resilience, and greater life. And that's precisely what makes the human experience so rich, so valuable, so beautiful. Finally, know this: your hero is always a version of yourself that you have yet to become. Every day, every week, every month, every year, you are chasing a future version of yourself. A version that is stronger, wiser, braver, and more capable. This is the nature of growth. Your hero is always 10 years away, always a little beyond your reach, and that's perfect. It keeps you striving, keeps you moving, keeps you alive in the process. So to all of us, whatever we are chasing, whatever dreams we are pursuing, whatever challenges we are facing, here's the truth: stay in process. Immerse yourself in the journey. Work hard, embrace responsibility, pursue what scares you, and never fear the finish line. It is not the destination, but the act of striving, creating, and living fully that matters most. Stay committed, stay present, and never stop chasing your immortal finish lines. Thank you. And remember, just keep living.